Welcome to In Focus. I'm your host, Yesenia Taveras. Did you know that every year more lives are lost to home fires than all major disasters? And the American Red Cross has partnered with the Wilmington Fire Department to deliver roughly about 2,000 smoke detectors free to our Wilmington residents. Joining me right now is James Jones from the Wilmington Fire Department. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Teresa Young from the American Red Cross as well. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So before we get into the details about the event and the free smoke detectors, let's talk a little bit about this joint venture. How did this all come about?
Well, the Wilmington Fire Department, along with other volunteer organizations, volunteer fire departments throughout the state, have always been partners with the Delaware chapter of the Red Cross. During our fires and after our fires, they come out and they support the constituents, helping them get their lives back in order in a short period of time. So this year we found out some information regarding new programs that the Red Cross was rolling out regarding giving out smoke alarms in residents and trying to get smoke alarms out to a large volume of residents, as well as some veteran programs that they unveiled to us. So we were so excited that we asked them to come in and speak about their new programs, and from that meeting we formed a partnership. Teresa can fill you in a little bit more on the programs that they're now offering for constituents throughout the state.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically it has been a wonderful partnership with the City of Wilmington in that we do get the calls to help the constituents after going through a fire. And we have a new kind of a series of events called Sound the Alarm, where we go out and install free smoke detectors, as do our fire departments. And we have a signature event, and in this case we wanted to choose the City of Wilmington because it's a high area of need, and the fire department and our chief here stepped right up and said yes. So we have a wonderful partnership about to take place.
Wonderful. And now the main event here, the goal here is preventive care, making sure that our residents are taken care of.
Absolutely.
So how does this smoke detector play a role in that?
So, as you stated earlier, more lives are lost each year by fires alone. In the city of Wilmington, especially in our city, we have been offering a free smoke alarm and free carbon monoxide alarm program for years. Unfortunately, not everyone takes advantage of that program, and maybe it's not being advertised as well as we want it to be, but here we are on your show, and we're going to make sure that people understand, as a resident of the city of Wilmington, you can call our smoke detector hotline, 302-571-4361, and we can schedule you to come out and install free with now 10-year smoke alarms, lithium batteries that last for 10 years. So as we used to have you do check your alarm every time you did a change in time, now we still want you to check the smoke alarms, but hopefully now you will have a working smoke alarm when it's needed. Smoke alarms are basically the forefront of your safety. Most people go to sleep at night. Most of our fires occur during late night hours, and they could be for any reason, electrical, arson, accidental.
Candles.
So we want you to get early detection. Detectors that the Red Cross is providing to us right now are 10-year lithium ionic detectors, where they look and pick up the particulates in the air and make sure that the detector goes off, giving you early warning.
Okay, so it's like a pre-test?
Yes.
Okay. And then from the American Red Cross perspective, here we have this initiative, but why is it important for an organization like the American Red Cross to really have these smoke detectors kind of donated to no cost to the resident as well to the Wilmington Fire Department? So why do you care?
Why do we? Well, we care about the people, so that's a start. It is an important question to ask, and what we're finding is that a lot of our fire departments, and specifically here also in the city, is we make the offer to say, here's a free alarm. However, that's a very reactive approach, and so what we're finding is a very proactive approach is going out to the communities and knocking on the doors. And on April 25th and 27th, we're going to be knocking on doors here in the city of Wilmington. We're going to Canby Park, Union Park Garden, and Bayard Square. And in those cases, we knock on the doors with our partner and we offer to install. We've also found in handing an alarm over, sometimes it ends up on the counter. We will literally install the alarm with our partners so that at the end of the day, we know that it is ready to save lives.
And that's very important.
It is. I have a really good story that a year ago, we had gone out door to door and knocked on doors and installed an alarm in November. It was something about November 15th, I think it was. And 1 month and 1 day later, that home that we encouraged entry into, and we actually were denied at first, and we just did a home safety education at the same time.
Okay.
They did let us in to hang the alarm, and 1 month and 1 day later, the mother and the youngest child was awoken by the alarm when they took a nap after taking cold medicine, and their lives were saved. And that was here in the state of Delaware. So knocking on the doors and installing truly made a difference.
And like you said, making sure that not only are they receiving these smoke detectors, but they're actually installed, because a lot of homeowners, renters, like they come in, they see this thing hanging on the wall, right? And if the battery is dying and it makes this long sound, they detach the whole thing, forget to put it back up, or even put a new battery in. So let's talk about the importance of checking, making sure that it is up to date, it's working, and also using your services while you're there if they don't need a smoke detector and they already have one. The importance of asking the question, hey, can you come check mine out, to make sure that it's still operating correctly and there's still life on it?
Sure. So again, the City of Wilmington Fire Department is tasked with the prevention and education of its citizens. Part of that is we go out again, and if elderly or a single mom, they're unable to get up and check, we will come and check. And if the detector is found to be old or questionable, we'll switch it out for one of the new detectors. We have various corporate partners that throughout the city, Red Cross, Delmarva, Lowe's, Channel 6, that have partnered with us to ensure that our constituents are provided smoke detectors and carbon monoxide alarms that work. So as Teresa said, we make a point to come out and put them up for you. We don't want to go, as I've seen as being a fireman through the years, where we go to properties that have had a fire. They said they wanted a smoke detector, and we find it's still in a box sitting on the counter after the smoke has settled.
Oh, wow.
So we want to make sure that those detectors are installed in the proper locations, that they're up and working. And while many of the citizens can check the smoke alarms themselves, they should also prepare with a home safety evacuation plan to go along with that. That way, if their alarm goes off, they have small kids, they have elderly residents, that they have a plan in place to get out of the property in the event of a true emergency.
And now let's talk about with the City of Wilmington's legislation that's currently in place. It doesn't really speak to both renters and homeowners, but the Wilmington Fire Department has taken the extra step to make sure that all renters and homeowners are taken care of. Can you talk on a little bit about that?
Yes, so if you are a renter, that means you're renting a property from another landlord or corporate business. They are legally responsible under the housing code to provide and ensure that the fire alarm or smoke alarm / carbon monoxide alarm is operational in your unit. In many cases, the landlords forget, the tenants take the detectors down or remove them, and they never get put back up. The fire department, back in 2017, when we started going out to these residents, we made a conscious decision that when we go into a property, we're going to leave it protected no matter what the status is. So if you're a homeowner or a renter were not going to come to your property and leave the home unprotected. So that was a change of policy. In the future, if you call in to the smoke detector hotline and you need a detector, we're going to ask you, are you a homeowner or a renter? We obviously want to follow the law, so if you're a renter, we're going to ask you to contact your landlord, or if you're having problems with your landlord, to reach out to License and Inspection to help you resolve that issue. If you're a homeowner, again, you have that free smoke alarm or carbon monoxide alarm that we will come out, schedule at your convenience, and install when you're available.
Okay, and let's talk about, like, we're here talking about prevention, the preventive care, but like, what happens once the fire has already happened and you don't have the smoke detector to wake you up? Like, how long do you have to escape the house? What is some of the trauma that families are experiencing from the American Red Cross and the firefighters' perspective?
Well, you know, the importance of having a smoke alarm is to give you that early detection. When there is no working alarm or no alarm present, you reduce your survivability tremendously. It's not always about the flames or the fire, it's the carbon or the smoke that normally is the items that hurt people, that kill people. So when you hear of people dying of smoke inhalation, it's generally the particulates that are put off by the fire that put people into like a coma, and then they go to sleep and never wake up. So these devices are built and manufactured to pick up those particulates that will allow for the early detection. Once a fire has occurred, then obviously Red Cross becomes a big partner for us.
Now let's talk about that with the displacement of homes and things like that, and how your organization steps right in.
Yeah, and just to bring it home, once a fire takes place, the assumption is about 3 minutes, and that's not a lot of time. 3 minutes to have lives saved. Don't worry about property. Property is replaceable, but lives are not.
That's right.
And so a lot of the goal here is to make sure that we're, helping our neighbors, our community, and our city be safer, as well as our firemen. If they're entering to defeat a fire, then it's safer for our firemen if they do not have to try and save lives at the same time. So let's exit with that smoke detector. In the meantime, what is experienced is once we arrive, it's always safe when we arrive. We're not the first responders, though we're considered in that category. The danger is put on the place of our fire department. Once it is safe, then Red Cross is called into, and once we receive a call, we have 2 hours that we respond within that time frame to help that family begin to recover towards new normal. And just imagine, volunteer enters to help our victims of the fire, and that's emotional for our victims, it's emotional for the volunteers. Your home, everything is kind of gone, it's in ashes, and so what does that do for that individual? Having someone who has the moment to give them a hug or just a chance to have a conversation. We have mental health workers that will come out and have a conversation with the youth as well as the parents to be able to help them just have that moment to figure out how to move forward. Red Cross covers a gap, and that's if lodging is necessary or clothing, food, a comfort kit, just having a toothbrush that night to get into a bed, being able to brush your teeth and curl up to a stuffed animal can mean the world to a child at that very moment. And then it is helping them find a new normal and navigate the process of recovery.
And this aid that the American Red Cross provides, is it free? Like, if I don't have to worry about like a fee or charge if you're helping me after this tragic event?
Yes, thank you for asking that. We often forget to say so, but everything we're talking about here is free for through Red Cross, and the smoke detectors are free, the installation is free, and that's in partnership. Everything that we provide, the conversations going forward and helping to navigate the new world is definitely free.
And what are some experiences that you've witnessed yourself or some of the volunteers you work with in regards to helping a person who's gone through this traumatic experience?
Well,
that could possibly help the next person.
They're varied. The most heartbreaking usually is knowing that there was not an escape plan or a smoke detector in place. Often when there's a life lost, the question is, did you hear the smoke alarm? Oh, we didn't have one. So when a life lost, we already know that that's a high probability. Hearing about children or family members trying to get out of the second story window and what that looks like, evacuation plans can help plan for that. Do you have an escape route? Do you have a ladder? Do you have the means and the understanding that don't grab anything, exit? Kids, don't go wake up your parents, exit, get across the street, go to a neighbor. What is the plan? So I think the most heart-wrenching stories are usually when you're standing there and trying to help a loved one understand how to help the rest of their family, having lost part of their family members already.
That's right, and then having to rebuild after having experienced that loss. And then from the firefighter's perspective,
Well,
this is the first I'm actually thinking myself as a homeowner about an execution plan. Like if something were to happen, I know myself I don't currently have one in the house because you're so busy working, you don't think to have a plan in action. You just know when the incident happens, we have the smoke detector, but how important is it to have a plan in place, and then what is your experience?
It's very important because the fire department comes out and performs 3 unique functions, suppression of the fire, search and rescue, and ventilation. If we come to your house and you tell us someone's missing, we're going to tear that house apart looking for that loved one, that missing person. People, when we have to make the distinction nowadays, is it a human or is it a pet? A lot of people consider their pets part of their family. So we're going to always, search and rescue for any life, human or animal, but human life is always foremost. Again, smoke detectors will save lives, both human or animal. A lot of times, if you're a dog lover like myself, my dog will alert me before anything else in the house.
Right.
So we want to make sure that all of our loved ones, human or animal, are protected. As Teresa was saying, one of the stories I think about as we've done this program, we have, of course, the fire alarm does not stop a fire. It just warns you of a fire.
That's right.
And it's gratifying to go back out to a fire location that we've done a smoke detector installation program in that neighborhood, and come to find out that newly installed fire alarm has just saved a life. That's really great, because when it's a free program, there's no excuse for anyone not to take full advantage of it.
Okay.
And that's what we really want to get out. This is a free program. All you have to do is pick up the phone, dial the number, or be home when we're doing a canvas of a neighborhood.
And before we go, let's talk about that. So the date of the event, what is this going to look like, what to expect, and if you want to volunteer, how does one volunteer?
So the dates are set for, we can do this year round. We don't want to stop anybody from thinking, if I'm not available on these 2 dates, then I'm not getting one.
Okay.
April 25th and April 27th, we will be at Douglas School in Canby Park, and at that time you can come out and volunteer. Jump on soundthealarm.org to volunteer and help your neighbors, your community, and your city made safer, more lives saved. The American Red Cross does track back the alarms installed and the lives saved from them, and we're over 570 lives saved to date. And these alarms, as we mentioned, are 10-year batteries, which means we'll be able to track this for the next 10 years on lives saved in this campaign as well.
Okay.
The event itself is no training necessary ahead of time. We will train you on site for your job. We're partnered with the chief and the fire department so that they're able to do our installs, and we will help educate the family on fire safety as well as prepare an evacuation plan for them. So we'll come out to you and help you prepare an evacuation plan.
Wonderful.
And that's the way the day will be. If you're in the neighborhoods, let us know you would like the alarms and that you'd like to volunteer, and we'll not only install, but you can come with us and help your neighbors.
And the wonderful thing too, as a volunteer, you can always log these hours too, as a student.
Yes.
A AmeriCorps member. I mean, there's so many beneficial ways to be a part of this.
Absolutely. We track those volunteer hours. Give us 50, you get a T-shirt.
That's amazing.
Everybody likes their T-shirts.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And on behalf of all of us here at WITN 22, I'd like to say thank you so much for watching. I've been your host, Yesenia Taveras.